Hello? Hello? Am I live? Am I here? You guys hear me? Oh, I'm peeking a little bit. Hang on. Hello? Is this better? All right. First YouTube live stream. What is going on? Yeah, what's up, boys? All right. Let's rank some catchers today. This is my official ranking right here. I've got Adley Rutschman in the awful tier for real. This is my most serious ranking ever. All right, sweet. I'm seeing we're live. We're live. All right. This isn't real. This is just clickbait. I'm gonna turn that off. This is my real my list I got here. I've got 6 tiers. I've got the MVP tier with it's only gonna have a couple of people. All-star, solid starter, good platoon, and then show me something and bad, which I changed to awful for the thumbnail, but whatever. Anyway, the premise of this stream is I didn't really research very much, but I'm going to go through, I got a wheel set up. I'm going to spin the wheel, and I'm going to go through every single team's starting catching situation, and then I'm going to rank them on this tier list. And since I didn't do that much research, there's only a few guys I'm set in stone with. I'm going to have you guys, the chat, argue your cases and try to help me out and make this list official. So, I think it's time we dive right in. I'm going to open up my my Wheel of Fortune here. Let's give it a whirl and see where we're at. Ooh, Reds. I thought it was gonna be Boston. All right. Start off with the Reds. I've got my list here of catchers from last year. I've got my fielding list from Fangraphs. But all right, let's pull up the chart here. Let's go to the Reds. We've got Tyler Stevenson. Tyler Stevenson of the Reds. Nice blurry picture of him. And let's take a look at his Fangraphs real quick. Let's go pull it up. Tyler Stevenson. Tyler Stevenson, really good player. 3 F4 last year. And of course, I'm going to be using F4 because Baseball Reference WAR does not include framing in its rankings, and framing's probably the most important skill for a catcher to have. But he's a good hitter, good defender. Let's check out his defense on Fangraphs. Let's do Command F. Stevenson. Tyler Stevenson, -3 defensive runs. Not terrible. Like he's passable. He's good enough at framing and throwing. And his offense is really what you're here for. They've got Trevino now. They traded for Trevino. And I think it should be... I'm not considering this a platoon at the catcher position. It's probably more of a... It's going to be him, and then Trevino's the defensive guy who might get some starts on day games, and then maybe the DH Stevenson sometimes. I have Trevino behind the plate for, I don't know, maybe he's a personal catcher for someone. I'm going to put him at a solid starter. Like, I don't think he's quite all-star tier because the defense isn't really there, but the hitting's good enough to make him solid, especially in that ballpark. He's going to hit for some power. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. If there's any objections from the chat, let me know, but I think that's a pretty fair ranking. Alright. So let's move on. Let's go back to the wheel here. Let's see our next team. You've got the... Uh-oh. Oh, I thought that was my team. If it was the Yankees, I was about to start glazing a little bit. We're going to go to the Angels now. And Angels, we've got Logan O'Hoppe. God damn, I'm awful at spelling. Logan O'Hoppe. Really good player. I like him a lot. He's young. He's just about to turn 25 next month. He was pretty good in 2023 in a limited sample. Then he got a full-time role as a starter this year. They brought in Travis d'Arnaud to be the backup. So I don't think he's going to get that much playing time. I think it's going to be Ohapi's job to lose pretty much. So I'm going to pull him up on our trusty chart here. Let's go to the AL West and Ohapi. Let's move him out here. For him, I'm kind of feeling... I think I'm feeling the same way about him as I do about Stevenson. He's younger. He's got a good bat. His defense isn't anything special. Let's pull up his defense here. 52nd in baseball out of all catchers. -2 defensive or fielding run value. Let's pull up his Savant page. Let's see here real quick. See what we're working with here. Look at that. Look at that sweet spot percentage right there. Oh my goodness. That's the type of stuff I love. Wow, Ryan. You're right about a few of those things, but we're not going to get into that now. Alright. Logan Ohapi, sweet spot percentage. He stacks paper to the ceiling and gets a lot of girls. That sweet spot percentage of his. He sprays the ball to all fields. Really good player. He's going to be, I think his bat's going to develop. If he gets those whiffs down a little bit, he'll be one of the better hitting catchers in baseball. I think I'll put that in solid starter for now. Probably could be swayed down a little bit to show me something because he's younger, but I have faith. I have faith in Logan Ohapi being a solid starter this year. So now let's pull up our trusty wheel and rip another one. Royals. Oh, Tigers. The last second. Alright, so we're going to go to the Tigers. Let's pull them up here. Let's pull them up. AL Central. I guess when I made all these pictures small before, they just, it killed the resolution, because Jake Rogers' mustache is better off admired in its full HD quality, but Jake Rogers, a very good, very underrated player, I will say. I feel like not too many people talk about him. Let's pull up his Fangraphs right now. Jake Rogers. He was a big part of this team that ended up surprising a lot of people this year. Doesn't do too much with the bat, strikes out a lot, has some pop, but 197 average, underperformed his ex-WOBA a little bit, but 71 WRC plus, and he was still a 2-WAR player because his defense is just that good. If we go to our leaderboards here, Jake Rogers, number 5 in all of baseball, leading all catchers in fielding run value. Incredible framer, good enough thrower, good blocker. Let's pull up his Savant page here. Look at that. Look at that. Bright red. That's what you like to see out of your catcher. And yes, as my buddy the Diamond mentions, that's X-Stash through the roof. Deidre says MVP mustache. I agree. If this was a mustache ranking, I think we would put him in the MVP tier. He might be in like the Hall of Fame tier if it was mustaches only. I don't know though. I feel like this is getting a little bit repetitive, putting him in solid starter, but his defense is just that good. Like he's not quite Patrick Bailey, but I think he's pretty much reliable enough back there on defense to be considered a solid starter as a catcher. And like I said, his offense maybe underperformed his expected stats a little bit. He can barrel up the ball, doesn't chase too much. He's gonna whiff, he's gonna strike out, but it's no big deal. If he's hitting for some power and he's playing his good defense like he will, that's a good solid starter. Let's go back to our wheel now. Let's see. Sacramento Athletics. Formerly Oakland Athletics. Let's see. Let's pull up Shea Langoliers. My buddy Cole, No More Fielders, he did a video, great video on the A's, their final game last year. Or last week. He made a great video on them. And Shea Langoliers was a big part of that video. And as you can see, he had a pretty good year. His first couple of seasons, I was kind of skeptical on him. His bat wasn't really there. His defense is subpar. He can hit, though. He showed this year that he can hit. And as long as he's hitting for power, 29 homers from the catcher position, like, he's going to have a starting job. My main issue with him is this. 82nd ranked catcher defense. That is a low floor. If he struggles on offense at all, that's going to get a little bit ugly there. His batted ball data is pretty good. He's going to whiff a lot. Negative 26 blocks above average. I don't think I've ever seen anything this low. That's... Yeah, Ryan says, it's the type of guy you name your kid after if you know how to frame. So yeah, he's really going to be a power. He's kind of reminds me of like Gary Sanchez when he was with the Yankees. A lot of homers, a lot of barrels. The defense is leaves something to be desired. So we'll see if he improves in the next couple of years. I think I'm going to put him. Let's pull him up here. I think this is going to be my first guy that's not in a solid starter range, which maybe I think he's good, but I want him to show me something this year. This is a guy who I could have up here in solid starter, but if he shows me something, he could be an all-star in the future. And also, who knows how he's going to play in that park in Sacramento. So show me something. Shay, let me see. Let me see you learn how to frame this year. Let me see you get down, do some blocking drills. Establish a higher floor for that defense there. And that being said, let's go to another team. Uh-oh. 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 Uh-oh.
Spread good vibes. Spreading where? Around the world. 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 Let's go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yep, show me something, Welty. Here we go. That's a catcher right there, boys. That's a catcher. That's a catcher right there. All right, let's go. Let's pull up Austin Wells. Austin Wells right here. Here we go. This is when we're talking ball here. Yeah, I have been preparing for days. That was one of like the 2 bits I have set up for when that wheel hits one of the teams. So Austin Wells, look at this, 3.4 FWAR. He's one of the guys. You look at this guy, right? Like, he's got the funny mustache. This is the guy who came up and nobody thought he'd be good at defense. Nobody thought he'd be sticking at the catcher position. They thought, oh, this guy's a first baseman, maybe a corner outfielder. He's going to slug from the left side. But then, 19 defensive runs, according to Fangraphs. 339 xWOBA. This is one of the best catchers in baseball right now as a rookie. 96th percentile FRV. Look at that. Swing tailored to the short porch right here. This guy. This is the type of guy you name your kids at. Pookie Bear, Austin Wells. This is the guy we traded the best, maybe the best defender in baseball, Jose Trevino, away for, so he can get some more playing time. The one thing about Wells I'd like to see him develop the bat against lefties a bit, because he really did. He did struggle a lot against lefties this past year. So, hopefully we can see some development. If the bat stays at this level, 340 xWOBA as a full-time starter, this guy is almost certainly, like, this is going to be one of the best catchers in baseball. That framing and that blocking, give him such a high floor, and he could throw a little bit. So, let's pull him up. Let's pull him up on this list. AL East, Wells. Oh, I've got quite the picture for him. Alright. I don't know where to put him here. Do I put him up in All-Star? Is that biased if I put him in All-Star? Man, above average offense, good power, and elite defense. I don't know, this feels biased. This feels biased, I don't know. Let's see what the chat's saying here. Yeah, of course. You don't know Austin Wells was iced out? Look at this man. That's aura through the roof, too. Like, come on. He's got the intangibles. He's got the biceps showing. I gotta pull up the full picture, but the All-Star The All-Star tier, I think, is where I'm going to put him. All right, so now I can stop glazing a little bit and go back to the wheel here. We can go to our next team. Let's see. Oh, the D-backs. This one's a little bit interesting here. Connor says I'm biased. I'm cherry picking. This one's gonna be the Diamond. The Diamond is a huge Diamondbacks fan, and he's a big Gabby Moreno guy. Let's see it. Gabriel Moreno. This guy. Look at that. The overall numbers a little bit reminiscent of Wells. Didn't play the full year this year. Plus offense and plus defense. Look at that. This is the thing I'm a little bit concerned about. The home run production has not been there so far for him. But I'm going to pull him up on here. Let's see. Where is he? He's 13th. 13th in FRV 4. He's not quite in the elite tier with these guys, but he's quality at throwing and framing. So that's really what you're looking for. Let's pull up his savant here. Big contact guy. Sprays the ball right up the middle. A lot of base hits. We'd like to see some more power, of course, but if he's going to be putting the bat on the ball like this and playing this defense, he's a really good player. I know the Diamond's going to be arguing for All-Star as well, but this defense right here, let's go back. I'm going to go back to last year. 2023, that's really good. 2022, when he first came up, that's really good. He's got the track record now. And the offense is slowly improved. It's close. I don't know. I could think about putting him in All-Star, but I think for now, I'm going to keep him in the solid starter tier. This might be biased pick. He is similar to Wells in a lot of ways, but I don't know. I think his ceiling is a little bit lower as of right now because the power isn't quite there. Power isn't quite there. He's got the arm and he's a good framer, but in terms of overall ceiling this year, I do think Wells is a slight bit ahead. That might be biased, I don't know, but Moreno really good. He'd probably be at the top of this tier, guys. But if he takes a leap in power or something like that this year, then maybe he'll be an all-star next season. But let's see. We'll see this year. Back to the wheel. Let's go. Oh yeah, and as the Diamond mentions, Adrian Del Castillo is on the D-backs from my Miami Hurricanes. Adrian Del Castillo, very good player. All right, here we go. Twins. Minnesota Twins. Their fan base notoriously loves me. And we've got an interesting player from them. Christian Vasquez is not the guy I'm going to cover for them. I'm going to go look for Ryan Jeffers. Bottom of the defensive leaderboards here. -7 FRV this year. But he had some offensive production. This right here is what I like. Right above my head. You see that? You see that right there? He knows how to pull a fly ball or two. My buddy No More Fielders saying, check out the other season statistics. Looks like his exit velo was down this year, but the bat speed's there. He pulled fly balls. I don't know if this guy's going to stick behind the dish. He can throw. Can't really frame. Can't really block. But the bat, this doesn't look that good, right? But the bat will play as long as he's pulling those fly balls. Let's go in the past years. It seems to me like he's sacrificed some exit velo this year to pull the ball right over that left field wall this year. Let's see. I'm going to pull him up on Fangraphs too. Ryan Jeffers. .7 FWAR. Interesting player. I don't know. I don't know where he should go. I'm thinking maybe he's got some things I like the pull fly balls. I think he's going to go and show me something. Because again, I don't know if he's going to stick back there behind the dish. But if he can keep hitting homers and then he improves defensively, he is going to be probably a solid starter, even an all-star at his very best. But for now, I think he's shown me something. All right, let's go back to our Wheel of Fortune. Wow. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. Oh, this is an interesting guy right here. Atlanta Braves catcher Sean Murphy. I was kind of interested that they didn't pick up their option on Travis d'Arnaud this offseason, but Sean Murphy should be healthy this year. He was not healthy this past season. I think he had like a hip injury or something. Yes. Sean Murphy, this is another one for No More Fielders and for What Happened to Baseball, Mitchell. Huge downgrade this past season, as you can see. Everyone on the Braves pretty much went from high 300s xwOBA to low 300s xwOBA. And Sean Murphy was one of those guys, unfortunately. I think the injury had a lot to do with it, but what Murphy does bring. Murphy has a pretty high floor. His defense is going to be good. I mean, this doesn't look that great because he didn't play that much. It's a cumulative stat, but you go here, elite blocking, go to the past. Look at that, elite hitting too. Yeah, he had a torn oblique, as N says in the chat. He did have a torn oblique from opening day, yeah, so I don't know. This guy's a little bit of an enigma, right? Like, is he going to be this guy? There's a lot of Braves that look like this in 2023, and then they didn't look like this in 2024. So I'm not sure if he's going to look like this again. If he looks like this, he's in the MVP tier. But he's not going to look like this either. So I'm thinking about this here. I'm probably going to put him up in All-Star tier, just because I definitely know he's got it in him. I definitely think I'm expecting a bounce back here from Sean Murphy. Johnny Bench Jr. when healthy. Yeah, I'll put him in All-Star. I see him rebounding this year, but this is a guy who, when everything's right, he could be up in that MVP tier. He could be in the top tier in baseball. And it's easy now for to make fun of the Braves for trading away the guy who probably is gonna spearhead the MVP tier for Sean Murphy, but I mean, 2023 spoke for itself. This guy is a really good player when he's healthy. So, All-Star tier is good for me. It looks like the chat agrees. Sean Murphy has insane cake. All right, Pirates, Pittsburgh Pirates. This one's interesting. Honestly, when I was putting this list together, off the top of my head, I did not know who the Pirates' starting catcher was going into this year. So if I scroll down here, we've got one Joey Bart. Joey Bart, the former first-round pick of the Giants, the former successor to Buster Posey's throne behind the dish. Did not work out for him in San Francisco. Did not work out. But he was traded to Pittsburgh this year, and what happened? What happened? He learned how to hit? 330 xwOBA, 121 WRC plus. Let's look up. Let's look up Bart's on here. Not really great behind the dish, so this is my whole thing, right? I'm not sure if this guy's gonna catch forever, but then you look at the Pirates, and I'm not sure who's gonna catch for them. Jason DeLay? I don't know who that is. Yeah, put IKF in there. That might have to be the case. Then you look at their minor league leaderboard. Henry Davis. Apparently they hate this guy. Pirates hate this guy, Henry Davis. Apparently he wasn't invited to the Fan Fest this year, is what I heard. He's 25 years old. Another high draft pick. First overall a few years ago, which I think was a money-saving move by them. And they've played him in the outfield a little bit, and he really has not shown anything at the major league level. Andy Rodriguez, I was pretty high on him a few years ago, but I'm pretty sure he got hurt and didn't really play much this past year. Yeah, barely played this year. So he didn't really hit in 2023 either. So I was kind of unsure who it was going to be, but it looks like it's going to be Joey Bart going into the year. It is his job to lose. Guy can hit a little bit, can hit enough, pull some fly balls, pull some homers. But this is a little concerning. I don't think I can put him anywhere higher than show me something, because he hasn't done it for that long, and he doesn't really have the floor as a defensive catcher. So, yeah, imagine saving money with the #1 pick instead of actually drafting someone good. Could not be me. Also, I'm a Yankees fan, and we haven't had a top 15 pick since the 90s when Derek Jeter was drafted, so I wouldn't know about that either. But Joey Bart, he's got the pedigree, so I'm putting him in show me something. If this was anyone else, I'd probably put him in bad. But considering their organization has three former really highly valued prospects in that catching position that haven't worked out, but could maybe show something the next year. Show me something. Show me something, Pittsburgh. I want to see it. Back to our wheel. What's going on here? What is going on? Tampa Bay. Playing at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. Actually playing in Tampa for once this year. Because of that hurricane. And we're going to pull up. Oh, this is actually the first... This is the first team I have listed as a platoon, I'm pretty sure. I've got Ben Rortvedt on the left and Danny Jansen on the right here. And yeah, it's the first platoon we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to pull up both of their pages here. Let's go Danny Jansen, the free agent signing first. Let's see what he has going on. Ooh. Not the best year from Danny Jansen. 2022, when Toronto had both him and Kirk, and then they also traded Moreno. That looked like maybe the best catching room of all time. But Jansen's bat has kind of taken a nosedive since then, and his defense was a little questionable this year as well. So let's go to the catching leaderboard. 60th in baseball, -3 fielding run value. Get a swig of water while I'm waiting for this to load. Yeah, imagine playing in Tampa where you're supposed to play. Let's see, he's doing a little Isaac Paredes impression, hitting all of his homers right down the line. Look at that. Oh, 14 blocks above average, but he also can't throw and it doesn't frame well. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him, but the other guy they have, Ben Rortvedt, guy the Yankees traded for like nothing before last season just because he was taking up a 40 spot. He ended up doing pretty well in the platoon role for them. That's not pretty, but yeah, the defense is there. And if you pull him up, Ben Rortvedt, 1.4 WAR this year. Let's see. He defends, doesn't really hit. I'm pretty sure they're going to be in a straight-up platoon. So that's why I have them listed together. And I think I'm going to put them in the good platoon tier. And even though Jansen's coming off a rough year, I feel like if any team's going to get the best out of him, it's Tampa. So these two guys together, I'm assuming they'll combine to be like 2 WAR. They'll be decent on defense, close to league average on offense. Let's see. Let's see what they can show me. Show me something, platoon. Show me something. Let's go back to our wheel. These guys aren't really interesting either, but Ben Rortvedt actually showed that he existed this year, so. Ugh. Uh-oh. Don't let Devers Enjoyer and Cutter is King see this. Connor Wong. It looks to me, I was looking at their depth chart. It looks to me like he's going to be the full-time starter. They traded away Kyle Teal in the Garrett Crochet trade, so I'm pretty sure Connor Wong's the one and only this year. They no longer, I don't think they have Felon, the man who did some activities in his car. I don't think he's on their roster anymore, if I remember correctly. So it's It's Wong's job to lose now. That's ugly. Minus 13 FRV. Yes, the last remnant of the Mookie Betts trade. Connor Wong. Oh. I mean, the bat plays in Fenway. The righty bat, he's going to hit some homers. He's going to hit some extra base hits off that wall. So I would take this ex-Woba with a grain of salt. But this defense is concerning. I don't know. Yeah, Reese is with the Cubs. Yeah, thank you, Palm. Ex-Wobacon, not terrible. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him. Because he wasn't awful this year. 110 WRC plus. I think he could probably hit above average. Just because he's built kind of for that park. Yeah, Carlos Narvaez is their backup now. And I like him a bit, but he's really unproven. I don't know. This could be like a bit of a platoon, like a defense-offense platoon. But I don't know. The offense, like you see the 110 WRC plus from catcher, and you think, oh, this guy must be decent, but this may be biased. This may be biased. That's where I'm putting him. My first bad tier player. And listen, I like Boston's lineup a lot this year, but catcher might be their weakest position. We pull it up. Yeah, then Hamilton's probably going to be out of there as soon as Campbell's ready. Yeah, Connor Wong, I don't really know how I feel this year. The position I probably like least for them. And we've got Carlos Narvaez, who I do think has some type of talent. So we could see. Yeah, don't tell Jared. Don't tell Jared I'm putting his starting catcher in the bad tier. Again, this could be biased. If send bro to hell. Wow, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Like that's. He never did anything that offensive to me, but. Who's better at catcher defense, you or Wong? I'm pretty sure, I don't know if Wong's ever been knocked out of a Bros versus Pros game before, so just based on availability, I'm going to say Wong, but it's close. Alright, so Brewers. This one will take about 5 seconds. I probably don't even have to show the data on this one. William Contreras. Bang. As you saw in the thumbnail, he's in the MVP tier. That's a no-brainer. Billy Bombs, no-brainer. This guy, I always liked him. I always liked the bat. But you think, oh, this first couple years, you think, this guy is going to be a left fielder. This guy's going to be a DH. He's going to be just like his brother. Maybe struggle behind the dish. But then he goes to Milwaukee and 20 defensive runs. 20 Fangraphs defense. And he took a little bit of a step back this year on defense, but the bat was so good, and the defense is good enough. So he's easily MVP tier. Yeah, I had Ohapi in solid starter tier. Yeah. Second best, Will Contreras. Yeah. Wilson, I don't even have in the catcher tier because they're apparently playing him at first base next year, which I don't like at all, but once we get to the Cardinals, we'll talk about that. All right. Texas or Colorado? Here we go. Colorado Rockies. This one is interesting. I keep saying that, but this one is interesting. Let's pull up the Rockies. This one, I was kind of like, all right, who's the Rockies catcher? I pull up their list. Jacob Stallings. Jacob Stallings started for them all year this year. And he wasn't bad when he played. Look at that, 114 WRC plus a year after going 55 WRC plus. That's a huge improvement. And they traded away Elias Diaz, and Jacob Stallings is now their starting catcher. This guy, 2021 in Pittsburgh. Look right above my shoulder here. Look at that defense value right there. Look at that defense. I wanted him on the Yankees in 2022 once it was clear we weren't keeping Gary. I wanted Jacob Stallings on the Yankees, and that would have been a mess. He was terrible with the Marlins. Terrible. Let's pull up his savant here. Look at this. 2021 elite defense. Look at that. Yeah, Elias Diaz, all-star MVP. But Jacob Stallings, look at that. He was pretty solid in 2021. Then he goes to Miami and just like forgets how to play baseball for a couple of years. Then he reemerges from beyond the grave in Colorado, and he's like not the worst player ever. 810 OPS, that's all cores, but whatever. Lifted the ball enough this year, blocked well enough. I mean, like he's 30. Like realistically, this guy is down there. Like, he's 35 years old. He was good for half a season this year, and he's coming off 2 terrible seasons back to back. So I'm definitely not bought into the Jacob Stallings hype, but so I'm putting him at the bottom. But who knows? Maybe he has a huge age 35 season and sticks it to me. So all right, let's go to DC. Okay, this one is... I'm not too happy about this one here. Let's go to the Nats here. Washington Nationals. Kyber Ruiz. This is a guy. This is one of those guys that the Dodgers shipped off as a top prospect. The Dodgers have had maybe... Okay, Bleach. Get out of here, bro. Kyber Ruiz, he's one of like the Dodgers like dozen catching prospects from the last 5 years that have been traded and then not worked out for the next team. The worst thing about that is this contract now. They locked into him long term. They're paying this guy money and he can't really do much of anything on the field. His offense went from acceptable for a catcher, you can see behind my head, acceptable for a catcher to what are we doing? He can't defend. He, like, one of the worst. It's led to one of the worst catching situations because they're paying him to be a solid catcher over the next like 6 years, and he's just hasn't shown much of anything. Sure, he's a good dude, but I'm sorry. You got fleeced. You got fleeced by Andrew Friedman, best GM of all time. He took your lunch money. You got a bad player for him. That's that. And that's tried to do what the Braves do. Alright, here we go. We got the Houston trash bangers. Am I right? The trash can bangers. Am I right, guys? Am I right, YouTube chat? The Houston trash can bangers. Alright. Let's go to Houston. Let's go to Space City. Yeah, they can get out of that contract, but it sucks to pay a guy $50 million to be a negative value ball player. They didn't need to pay him either. Like, he hadn't really shown too much before the contract to warrant being paid. So in my list here, I have Diaz as the sole. All right, no more Jerry Dipoto propaganda in chat. The trash can bangers, all right. Let's go. I'm so serious about that too. They've moved on from the Maldonado era last year, so Yainer Diaz is their starting catcher, and yeah, he would be starting Maldonado for the big ones. You're right, but I actually don't really know what they're gonna do. I have Diaz listed as the sole starter, which I think makes sense because he's a really good player. But they also have Victor Caratini. Victor Caratini was a very sneaky good player this year. 2 WAR as like they were kind of a platoon where Caratini was the defensive guy, but he also hit well. So I'm pretty sure he's going to get some good playing time this year too. Diaz is definitely the main guy. He might DH a little bit. We don't really know what's going on with their depth chart because they could still bring back Bregman. So who knows? Who knows how they're going to play, but I think they're each going to get a good chunk. And Diaz just on his own, even though he doesn't defend, he's not really a good catcher. He's a really, really good player. And I think combining it with the fact that Caratini's going to pick up the slack on defense, they're going to combine for they combined for over 5 WAR this year. I can see him combining for 3.5, 4 WAR, which is like all-star tier for a catcher. So I'm going to put him up there, even though he can't defend. Just like let it be known that I have him there because he will be sharing some time with Caratini, even though I didn't list it. I'm actually going to see where he ranks on our list. No, not Elias Diaz. Yeah, he's near the bottom here. First base, too. Yeah, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with them? Yeah, Caratini was good this year. I was kind of shocked. I looked at his Caratini's Savant in like September. Actually, I'm gonna pull him up now. It's ranked 11th in fielding run value as a half of the time player. I was kind of shocked. He hit really well this year. Plays really good defense. Does everything. Does everything you would like out of your backup catcher. He's a switch hitter. So I like that. I like what they've got going there. I like their catching situation. I like it enough to put it in All-Star tier. Anyway, let's get moving on. Blue Jays. Toronto Blue Jays. Alejandro Kirk. Let's pull him up here. Alejandro Kirk. Bang. As a part-time Blue Jays hater, I don't really know how to feel about Kirk. Like, he's a good player. I like him as a player. Thick Jesus, yep. He is really round. He's rotund. He might be the most rotund player in baseball right now that Dan Vogelbach is between teams. Alejandro Kirk. He's really short, too, which makes it a little funnier. He's like my height and like probably like 85 pounds heavier than me. So, and I don't know, this could be a little bit generous to him too, this 245, who knows. But really good player, as much as I hate to admit. He's one of the better defenders in baseball, 14 fielding run value this year, so that gives him one of the highest floors. And he can hit. He can hit enough. Does not strike out. He's really good at getting the bat on the ball. He's a frustrating at bat, and just the times I've watched him play against my Yankees, like he's a guy who's gonna foul off pitches, he's gonna swing at everything, he's not gonna strike out, and he hits for enough pop. I'll look back at his 2022. This is when he was really looking good as a hitter, and then he kind of regressed in 2023. I think he was dealing with some stuff off the field, but 2024 was a good bounce back. The underlying stats looked a little bit better, and his defense was really good. 3-WAR player. I think his ceiling is a little bit higher than that. It looks like he got unlucky. He underperformed his ex-WOBA this year. Alejandro Kirk, I'm going to put him All-Star tier. Maybe a little bit high. I don't know. I like him a lot this year. If anyone wants to argue with me, let me know. But my short kings need to shout him out a little bit. Also, he's got the rotund aura, so I'm going to put him up there in the All-Star tier, because I do think he could probably be an above-average hitter and a really good defender this year. San Diego Padres. This has been one of the worst off seasons I think I've ever seen from a franchise that was very, very close to making a true run at the World Series last year. I am disappointed. Obviously, there's a lot of extenuating circumstances. I don't know if I said that word properly, but like their ownership, they're suing each other and all that stuff. Apparently people were saying that's part of the reason why Sasaki was not interested in going to San Diego, but who knows. They have not made a move pretty much all offseason. They acquired Ron Marinaccio from the White Sox for cash, which I did not know. But, yeah. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? Luis Campusano. I'll just say it. Bad year. Bad year from Campusano. Bad offense. Bad defense. Bad base running. He hit really well in his limited time in 2023. I don't really know too much about him as a prospect before MLB, but very, very disappointing step back. As you can see, his BABIP dropped to nearly 100 points. That's probably part of the reason, but the ex-WOBA also behind my head, it dropped from one of the better catchers to well below average. So I'm gonna look him up on our catching defense leaderboards and dead last on the catching defense, Luis Campusano. That's not good. I'm gonna put him in the bad tier. And I know, like, I've seen some people saying that they gotta, like, rush. They have to rush up, what's his name? Ethan Salas. He's not ready. The bat is so far off that I don't think you can do that. That would ruin his development. I've got an old friend, Maldonado. I would not be surprised if he made the team. Yeah, I don't know. It's looking pretty bleak for them. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the way the Giants and D-backs have improved this offseason. I don't know if the Padres make the playoffs this year, which sucks because it sucks for their fans. But let's see. Let's pull him up here. Let's pull up Campusano here. Straight to the bats here. Brutal time for the Padres. Yeah, Yasmani Grandal is a free agent right now, and it is very well possible they'll bring him in. So that could throw a wrench into this operation. But he's also like an old man, and he's probably gonna be like mediocre at best anyway. But who knows? It's possible. Bring back Austin Nola. Yep. All right, Cardinals. Cardinals are paying Wilson Contreras a lot of money to be a really good catcher. And Wilson Contreras is a good catcher. He's not that great at defense, but he's a good enough catcher. But they decided, Wilson, we don't want you to catch anymore. We want your bat in the lineup every day, so we're going to play you at first base. What that means is Ivan Herrera is the starting catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. And if you don't know Ivan Herrera, he had a pretty damn good year this year. This is the reason they're willing to move off of him, off of Contreras. No, not Jose Herrera. Ivan Herrera. Here we go. Yeah, they can't throw Contreras under the bus when Kyle Gibson isn't an all-star caliber pitcher. You're right. Yeah, Ivan Herrera is a very good player, so I understand the thought process a bit, especially they want to keep Contreras in the lineup every day. My only issue is that I don't think Contreras is nearly as valuable as a first baseman as he is as a catcher. Like his offense is going to be there. It's going to be really good, but he's going to be more closer to average for a first baseman compared to probably the best or second best to his brother as a hitter, as a catcher. But Herrera's good. Is not the best defender ever, but the offense is there. He was really good in his limited time this year. He is very limited. He's only 250 plate appearances, so like I like what I see. I like what I see out of Herrera, but just in terms of the lack of volume, I think I'm gonna put him in the show me something tier. If you can do that over a full year, this guy is like all-star tier, but the sample is so limited at this point that I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying the 250 plate appearances of very good hitting. But show me something. Ivan, show me something this year. Yeah, replacing Yachty is probably going to be the best video ever as long as Herrera ends up being that guy. All right, Cubbies. This one, going into this video, I did very little research going into this stream. When I was getting all the pictures lined up, I went to the Cubs roster resource. I said, I don't have a goddamn clue who the starting catcher for the Chicago Cubs is. And this is a team that's making moves. This is a team that's, like, I guess pretending they're going to be good this year, which I'm not really buying them right now, but they could be, who knows. And I went to the Cubs roster resource. I'm going to take you to the Cubs roster resource right now. And who's their starting catcher? Miguel Amaya. Who the hell is this guy? The starting catcher for a team that wants to win the World Series? I mean, like, I'm sure he's a cool dude, but I'm sorry. Oh no, I hit the Windows button. Miguel Amaya, -4 fielding run value this year. Good blocker, bad thrower, bad framer, bad hitter. I don't know, man. I'm not seeing it. And I don't really know. I don't think they have any other, like Carson Kelly they signed. I think they signed him to be a backup. I don't think he's going to be, who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? I don't really like him that much either, but see if they have any prospects. Carlos Perez. That'd be fun. Uh, yeah, I don't really know too much about this guy. Looks like he's a high-ranked prospect, but I don't know if he's ready yet. Uh, yeah, but as of right now, it's Miguel Amaya in the starting lineup, according to the roster resource. And Carson Kelly's the backup. So I'm grading it as Miguel Amaya, the starting catcher for the Chicago Cubs, who want to win a World Series this year. And he's down here with the rest of the riffraff. Where's Yachty? Yachty's coaching, he's managing a Dominican League team right now, I'm pretty sure. How do you not recognize him? Because I don't stalk Horner Burner on Twitter that much. As much as I'm on Twitter, I don't know. Let's see. Up next. Ooh, this is a team. This is the team that I like this year. Oh, Connor's getting pissed in the chat at the Carson Kelly. All right, but we got the Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers, I probably think, besides the Dodgers like cheating offseason, I think Texas has had the best, probably the best offseason in the American League. I'm going to go pull up their roster resource. This doesn't relate to a catcher position either. Like, just in general, overall, they've been really, really good. I like a lot of the moves they've done. They brought in thick boy Jake Berger, great player. Jonah Heim is their starting catcher as of right now. Yeah, Chris Martin Glaze. Yeah, I love Chris Martin till I die. But yeah, Jonah Heim's their starting catcher, and they brought in Higgy as the backup. I think I have him listed as a platoon. I'm not quite sure how it's going to shake out. He struggled a lot this year, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what was wrong with him because he was really good in 2023. It looks like his BABIP fell off. I'm not sure who the real Jonah Heim is between these two, but I don't know. Let's pull up his defense. His defense took a big step back, and then they brought in Higgy for some power. Carlos, how you doing, brother? It's been a minute. We gotta catch up. Jonah Heim. Forgetting this Jonah Heim. That's a really good player. Again, this Jonah Heim, I don't know. So I'm thinking they're going to do Heim versus righties and Higgy versus lefties a lot of the time. And Higgy hit for some power this year. He had a very good year. And he got a decent payday. I'm going to put them in the solid platoon tier. I got Higgy where like, very close up on Higgy. His face is overbearing in this chart. Yeah, but I think they're going to be solid. The floor that Higgy gives you with like the decent offense, then Heim, if he can get halfway between 2023 and 2024, that's probably like a 2.5 F4 at the position. Optimally. It's nothing special, but it's a good platoon. Good enough. Good enough, especially considering I really like their offense otherwise, so they don't have to do too much with their bats. Here we go. Yeah, Jonah does have MVP here. Here we go, the Mariners, Seattle. This is kind of similar to my my stance on San Diego. They've had one of the roughest off seasons this year of a team that's pretending to contend. But if it's any consolation, they've got probably the best catcher in baseball. Look at that. That's the salvation of Washington State, of Seattle. That's the salvation right there. I don't even have to look at the data. That's easy MVP tier. He's one of the best catchers in baseball, maybe the best. It's him and Billy Bombs. Look at that. He's got the cake. Yep. Everyone's saying, "Oh, it's easy MVP." Everyone's saying MVP. Let Jerry cook. I'm not letting Jerry cook. I do kind of like Jerry. I think he's kind of restricted by their payroll situation, unfortunately. But let's go to Raleigh. Oh, look at that. Third in baseball in catcher FRV. And guess what? Guess what he's also good at? Guess what he's also good at? He's good at everything. He's good at hitting. One of the best power hitting catchers I've ever seen, dude. 27 homers, 30, not enough. 34 this year. Elite. Look at that barrel rate. I'm salivating looking at this. I'm salivating looking at this too, but I'm salivating looking at the numbers. Easy MVP tier, not even close. Yeah, he's gonna defeat the anti-pride game Rangers. All right. Oh, here we go. I've got my second bit of the day prepared for this one. My second bit of the day. Let's pull him up. Let's pull up JT Realmuto, starting catcher of the Philadelphia Phillies. I don't want to get copyright claimed, but you get the bit. He's washed. That doesn't mean he's not good though. He's washed from being an MVP tier player. He used to, a couple years ago, I would say up here, maybe going into last year, I would have said All-Star. I think he's solidly in the solid starter tier at this point in his career. He's a good player. He's still a really good player, don't get me wrong. I did my little bit, my little hilarious bit you guys all laughed at. You laughed at my funny Kevin Garnett meme bit. JT Realmuto, solid player. I'm going to pull up his stats, so I'm not completely ignoring it. Still a 2-WAR player, like above average hitter from catcher. He's not the defender he used to be. Remember a couple years ago, he was pretty much good at everything, but the defense, the blocking, and the framing's kind of dropped off in recent years. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look what he used to. Look what we had. Look what we had in JT Realmuto 2022. Power to all fields. Elite defense. He's still a good player. Like, look at this. This is still really good data for a catcher, especially. 750 OPS. He's probably going to continue sloping down somewhat. Like, catchers don't really tend to rebound age 34, 35. But for right now, I think he's still, like, a solid starter. I could see him maybe getting back to All-Star if he just, like, catches fire this year. But I don't see him getting down to the bad tier right away. Like, he maintained level of play from 2023 into this past year, so let's hope we can stay around 2-3 WAR for the Phillies' sake. All right, let's get into our next. Oh, look at that, the wheel's thinning out a bit. New York Mets. All right, New York Mets. This one's. I was a little bit conflicted on when I was thinking about this. We've got Francisco Alvarez. Insane prospect pedigree. Insane prospect pedigree. Let's pull up his stats. Alvarez. I'm not going to be a member of you Fangraphs. I'm sorry. Francisco Alvarez. Look at that. 3 WAR, then 2 WAR. I can't really see it's behind my head. 3 WAR and then 2 WAR. His first 2 years. Yeah, he dealt with an injury this year. I'm pretty sure it was like a wrist or something, so maybe that could have affected his offense. His power was way down. The overall production was fine, and he's a good defender, so let's pull up his savants. I would like to see some more pop. It was a lot of blue this year. Not that many homers. We're going to put him. This is a little, like, if he was older, I'd put him in solid starter, because I think that's what he would be if he was, like, a couple years older. But I want him to show me something. I want him to go out there and show me that he could be an all-star. I want him to go out there and show me that he was worth that top prospect billing that he was at a few years ago. If he goes out there and hits 25, 30 bombs, if he goes out there and has a 115, 120 WRC plus with his defensive floor, he's going up here this time next year. Maybe up here. Really good player. Would be in solid starter if he was older, but there's more there. It's kind of not really fair to have him lower, I guess. The tiers aren't really great, a great representation of the quality of player, because I think he'll he has a higher ceiling than a lot of these guys, but and he's probably got a similar floor to a lot of these guys too. But I don't know. Should I move him up? I feel like it's not really fair. I've seen Carlos says to put him in solid starter. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cheese a little bit. I'm gonna go like that. All right. That's Francisco Alvarez right there. He could be. I want to see something from him, but his baseline is solid starter, and I could see him being an all-star this year. Well, I'm gonna put him all the way up. Bang. That's Francisco Alvarez in my rankings. Could be any of these three in the next year. Maybe even MVP if everything goes perfect. But I might be cheating a little bit, but that's what I'm doing. Alrighty. And we've got the Kansas City Royals, one of the surprise teams from 2024. A team that I did not believe in after their offseason at all. And they went out there and they proved me wrong by losing to my favorite team very quickly in the playoffs. And I've got them listed as a platoon. I've got poor Salvi, but he doesn't catch every single game anymore. They have Freddie Fermin catches a lot of the games for them. And he's a pretty good player too. I'll pull up their stats right here. Let's check him out. I'm going to go to their roster resource. I mean, Salvi. He's got the bat, of course, and he actually at age 34, he learned how to like catch somehow this year. And he put up one of his let's see. It's his like third positive defensive season since he was like a 25-year-old. Which I don't know where that came from, but it worked. Maybe it's because he was setting up closer to the hitter. I saw some people said he did some of that. Just his positioning back behind the dish. But that offense is always going to be there. Like, come on. He underperformed. He underperformed his focus. He underperformed his WRC plus significantly this year. And he was still a 3-WAR player. Like, this guy is so good. And he's not going to catch every day. Actually, I'm going to pull up for me now because they are going to be splitting time behind the dish. Salvi's probably going to be playing some first base or DHing. Freddie Fermin, really good player as well. Really good defensive floor. Not quite there with the bat, but he does enough with the bat to not be terrible. Again, this is kind of like the Diaz. This is almost exactly like the Diaz and the Caratini platoon. So I think Salvi's more established. Yeah, I think that he slots in really well in the All-Star tier. Thought you were Jake in the thumbnail, like talking Jake. My name is Jake, by the way. Jacob. In case you guys didn't know. But yeah, I'm not talking Jake. Nor am I related to talking Jake. Alright, we got the Cleveland Guardians here. Let's see it. Let's close out all these tabs. Cleveland. This is for you. Bo Naylor. Is he not here? Oh, Naylor. I'm stupid. That. Bo Naylor, great defensive floor. First percentile ex-WOBA. I don't know how I feel about him. He's got some pop. He can pull the ball down the line, hit a few homers. He's certainly not his brother with the bat, though. And his defense is quality, but it's not elite. It's really good. Like 87th percentile fielding run value. Who's their backup? Hedges. Yeah, Hedges he shouldn't be playing at all. I'm not gonna lie. But Bo Naylor, I think he has a prospect pedigree. He could show me something more. I think I'll put him in solid starters. I think the floor is good enough. Maybe I'll put him in show me something. Let me check again. I'll take a look at his numbers again. Yeah, 1.6 FY. I'll put him in show me something. Over here. Nah, he's not bad. He's not bad. He's good enough floor, and he's got the pedigree, and he's gonna pull fly balls. I'm sure he's like his strikeout rate went way up and his ISO went down. I'm sure he's gonna find a way to stabilize somewhere between this 122 and 74 WRC plus. I could see him being like a 90, 95 WRC plus in the future. Him and Josh are Mario and Luigi. It's a good comp right there. Okay. Oh, here's when we get ugly. Oh no. This is another team. I don't think you can blame me for going into this. I did not know who their starting catcher was. I know I'm supposed to be the guy who knows what I'm talking about, but Corey Lee and Matt Thaiss. Jesus Christmas. That's brutal. I like there's no quite come on. Come on, Chicago, what are we doing here? Corey Lee, 79th out of 84 catchers in terms of FRV. And guess what? He doesn't hit either. He can throw. He's got a cannon for an arm, it looks like, but yeah. Yeah, so this is my buddy No More Fielders mentions in the chat. Corey Lee's definitely going in the bottom tier. He's bad. They're stacking catching prospects. They just traded for Kyle Teal, and I actually put him on this list. I put Kyle Teal on this list because he could be up sooner rather than later, given their catching position. I think Kyle Teal, I'm going to put in the show me something, because I don't know even if he's going to get playing time this year or not. But he's a big-time prospect. He can do it all. He can hit. I'm going to pull up his minor league evaluation from Fangraphs. Look at that. He's like 50s across the board, except 45 hit. He's got good pop, good defender. Obviously, we don't have the metrics on him in AAA, but he hit pretty well. He hit pretty well across the minors last year, especially in AA. He came up to AAA, he wasn't quite as strong. The power dropped a little bit. But I'm sure if you started Kyle Teal right now, which I don't know if they're going to do, if you started him right now, he'd be better than Corey Lee. Kyle Teal better than Corey Lee. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't know when he's going to get playing time, but I'd be interested in seeing him develop this year. And the Guangdong Tigers are calling for Corey Lee. Oh, Marlins. We've got like almost identical situations here in Miami. I'm going to pull up Fortes right now. Nick Fortes. I've got a Nick Fortes story. Save eligibility for Teal. Yeah, I don't know. Like that's kind of like sandbagging though, isn't it? Like if Teal's ready to go, you kind of it would be. I'd file a grievance if they just don't call him up at all this year. And he's ready. He looks like he's ready. But yeah, back to the Marlins. Nick Fortes, 57 WRC plus, good defender. That's the difference between him and the Corey Lee. Fortes has somewhat of a floor. That doesn't mean that he's anything above bad tier, though. So that's where I'm going to put him. Bad tier. I'm sorry, Nick. I'm also sorry that your name sounds so similar to that, the worst guy of all time. But I actually saw Nick Fortes homer in person in Miami a couple years ago. I don't remember which one it was, but I'd pull up the clip if I knew. But he's good enough defender to be, like, he should be a backup. He should be a backup somewhere. He should be getting maybe, like, 50, 60 games a year, coming in for defense, playing the day games. This guy should not be starting on a major league team with this bat. Like, I'm sorry. But that being said, they've got Augustin Ramirez in the minors, and he should be up soon. They traded for him in the Jazz Chisholm trade. He had a really, really strong start to the minor league season with the Yankees. After the trade, he kind of dropped off a little bit, I think. Oh, no, he ended up he finished strong with them, it looks like. I thought he was struggling with Miami. Look at that, 112 WRC plus in AAA after the trade. 130 overall on the season, which is quite incredible for a catching prospect. and 45 future fielding grade, which who knows? I don't really know if they know how to evaluate that. Like Austin Wells was like 40 or 35 or something. He ended up being great behind the dish, so who knows? Who knows if he's gonna catch? But I do think he should be up sooner rather than later. So yeah, I went to a few Marlins games in like the junior year. I went to a Marlins Reds game where Hunter Green pitched. I think it was like Hunter Green versus Sandy Alcantara. Also, I went to a game against the Padres where Soto played too, which is pretty sick. Yeah, I'm putting Ramirez in the show me something tier, similar to Teal, like pretty much exact same situations. They have catchers who should not be starting major leaguers starting to start the year, and then prospects potentially ready as soon as this season. So there's two guys to look out for. Yeah, we're almost at the end here. Alright, we've got 3 interesting players left. Giants. San Francisco Giants. This is an easy guy to find. Patrick Bailey. You have to look for the #1 catching prospect, or the #1 catching defender in baseball, and you find Patrick Bailey's name listed. His offense actually wasn't the worst either this year. 319 xWOBA, like hit a few balls into the bay. Probably not into the bay. I'm not sure if he ever hit a splash hit, but all the balls went out to right field. Easily best defender in baseball, most valuable defender in baseball. His floor is like 4 WAR. Let me pull up his Fangraphs here. Bailey, not to be confused with Foolish Bailey, my colleague. Look at this. 36 behind my head. 36. 25.4, 36. This guy's been worth like 60 defensive runs in like not even 2 full years of starting. This is remarkable. He underperformed his xWOBA significantly and put up 4 wins above replacement this year. Over 4. This guy, I might say something crazy right now. Would it be crazy? Would it be crazy for me to put this guy in the MVP tier? Would it be wild? He doesn't hit, like, he hasn't hit so far. But, look, the offense, the metrics are there. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. For a catcher, I'm not sure what he's doing wrong. I'm not sure why he's not getting results, but, like, that's a big jump from 2023 to 2024. Strikeouts were way down. He strikes out and walks at a normal rate. Doesn't really chase. His bat speed's not crazy, but it's good. Average exit velo, 84th percentile. Sweet spot is good. Maybe it's just the park he plays in. Maybe he plays in Death Valley, San Francisco, but like he's not gonna smoke a lot of homers. But like, if everything clicks for him on offense, Transit Enthusiast is saying he should only hit lefty. So maybe that is something. I'll pull up his splits real quick. Let me see. I want to see how he hits. All right, let's do. Let's go to the advanced splits. Oh yeah, he strikes out a lot more from the right side. He has a 31 WRC plus from the right side. Does not hit for any power from the right side. This guy looks like he should be hitting lefty full time. Maybe that's something the Giants will consider in the future. Because these numbers, as a lefty, this guy is a really, really good hitting catcher. Really, really good. And if he wasn't so good at defense, he'd probably be platooning, and his offense would look better. So I'm going to put him in MVP tier, because I think he's a few adjustments away, maybe dropping the righty hitting. Maybe he's a few things away from truly being a 5, 6, maybe 7 WAR player in his best years. I took an MVP future on him on DraftKings last year. I put like $1 to win 200, and I might have to do that again. I'm talking myself into it now. All right, we've only got 2 teams left. All right, Dodgers. Will Smith. I'm such a bad streamer. I could have pulled up the the Will Smith slap to do a funny gag, but I'm not prepared. So let's go to the Dodgers. Will Smith, the baseball player, and of course they got Austin Barnes, the guy who's a chill guy and he just hangs out in the locker room. And he's like friends with Kershaw and the boys. But Will Smith's the real guy, the real deal. He is really good. I'm a little bit skeptical on him. They just signed him to this like 8-year extension or 10-year extension. Jesus Christ. And I think he struggled a bit like after signing that deal this year. I'm gonna go to his splits. Like I'm gonna see if his month by month splits. They have him on here. I could just do. Oh, here we go. Let's do advanced month by month. Red hot April, good in May, struggled a bit in June, okay in July, struggled a lot in August. Then he finished off the year pretty strong. But first half 130 WRC plus, second half 78. So he hit some type of wall halfway through this year. Was not as good starting in June. June through August was brutal. I'm not sure what to make of that. I'm also not sure what to make of his defense. Not great for a full-time starter, so the bat has to be there for him to be playing at his potential. When he's right, he's right. When he's right, he's probably a MVP caliber guy as well. And he was struggling in the postseason a bit. Ton of catchers struggle in the second half, yeah, and our last guy, we'll talk about that a bit too, but I don't know. Where do you guys think we should put Will Smith? Down year. Let's go back to his normal stats. 2.7 WAR in a pretty down year. Like that could be age. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be something that continues into the future. The strikeout rate was up a little bit. The power's still there. Like he's still a really good hitter overall. All-star, yeah. I'm thinking he's all-star. I'm thinking he's all-star, but proceed with caution. If he continues to struggle in the coming years, it's very possible. It's very possible that he might be regressing soon. I'm gonna move this over so you can see a little bit more. Yeah, would be a little bit skeptical about him, but the floor he's presented with the bat the last few years, like I don't think I can put him lower than all-star. He does worry me though. All right, so our last player, he's the guy I clickbaited in the thumbnail to this stream. Let's see what it lands on here. Baltimore. All right, bang, we're done with the wheel. Baltimore Orioles it is. Another pretty disappointing offseason for me. Just as even as a fan of the Yankees, it's pretty exciting for me to see Baltimore lose all these guys and replace them with kind of who I see as worse replacements. Like Tyler O'Neill, I think is a worse version of Santander, and then you've got like Sugano and Morton in the rotation replacing Burns. Like that's no replacement. I do think their bullpen's gonna be strong this year with Bautista coming back, and Kittredge was expensive, but he should be good. Yeah, I'm shocked they landed on Baltimore too. But we're here to talk about Adley Rutschman. Adley Rutschman, this is a guy, I actually watched the Draft Deck Marks video on his catcher rankings before this, because I want to get some other thoughts. And he mentioned, this guy has played almost every single game over the last 2 years. Catchers don't play this much. He catches, and then he DHs when he doesn't catch. He almost doesn't take days off. I'm thinking that might be part of the problem. Because he, just like Will Smith, he hit a bit of a wall this year. Second half, let's pull up. First half versus second half here. First half, 123 WRC plus. That's one of the best catchers in baseball right there. Second half, 70. I don't think he's ever struggled like this at any level of any sport. Even as a kicker in college, I don't think he struggled this much. Yeah, the discipline was like the strikeouts and walks were normal. He struck out even less, but the power was completely gone. And I gotta wonder, like, were his legs just shot? The BABIP was down. I'm thinking his legs were just shot by the end of the year, which maybe just means he needs... How do I spell his name? There's an S in there. Yeah, let's check his past year's metrics. Look at that. This is what he was 2023, and then last year, all the power data down, bat speed near the bottom of the league. I know he's a contact guy before power, but he needs to hit for more pop this year if he's gonna remain. He would have been an MVP guy going into this past season, and I don't think I can put him that high anymore. Yeah, back problems. Yeah, I think he just needs more time off. He needs more load management, as they say in the NBA. But there's scenarios where he could be back up to this level sometime soon. But as of right now, I think I'm gonna put him in All-Star just because he's been so good in the past. I know I clickbaited him. I put him in the awful tier, which doesn't even exist. But All-Star for me, like, this is a guy. He's never been bad. This year he still wasn't bad. He was still a pretty good player. But I would like to see him figure it out this year. I want to see a full, maybe drop it down to 130 games played this year, but I want to see a full season of production. No August wall, no July wall that he hits. Actually, I'm going to pull up his splits again before we finish this thing off. July, he absolutely stunk it up. 45 WRC plus. And he literally did not have a good month after in the second half. Yeah. So he definitely needs to change something about how he's used this next year. All right, but this is my final tier list. We've got Contreras, Big Dumper, and Bailey in the MVP tier. We've got Austin Wells, bias pick. Then we've got Sean Murphy, Yainer Diaz, Alejandro Kirk, and then we've got Salvi and Fermin here. Oh, and Diaz is considered up here with Caratini as well. Then we've got Francisco Alvarez, who extends all the way from Show Me Something to All-Star, because I don't have my mind made up on him. Then Will Smith and Adley, two All-Star level guys who both had very similar years. They both regressed in the second half after excellent first halves. And then solid starters, which I started off with like 3 straight guys here, and I've barely put anyone else in here. Like Tyler Stevenson, who's this? I can't even see. It's O'Hoppe, Jake Rogers, Gavin Moreno. If you guys have any final gripes, let me know right quick before I end this thing off. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in. I'm thinking I might do this a little bit more in the future. This was just kind of a test run. I want to see how it would be. I want to see how Streamlabs works. First base next, maybe. I'm gonna have to have you on the stream to help me grade these guys. Talking to a screen for an hour and a half straight. I'm not really built for that. My throat's kind of killing me. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I've got a new video that's coming out whenever it clears copyright claim. If you guys want to check it out now, I'm gonna actually move it up to bang. This is about players who change the rules in one way or another. Basically, players who there's a single rule named after them type of deal. And it's out now to channel members. If you want to hit that join button below for $4 a month, you can watch this video right now. For everyone else, I'm not sure when it's going to be out because I need to make sure it's copyright free. Hopefully by Monday, but I don't know. Thanks, Hezzy. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll stream again. Hopefully I'll learn how to speak for 90 minutes straight better, so I'm not just rambling like this, but I think this is pretty fair. I think I like my final rankings. I'm gonna post this on Twitter, and they're gonna hate it there, but I like what I came up with here. So again, thanks for tuning in, everyone.